the NFL stands for not for long.
Set Sharga and Armstead. Roll out. Walker still running out. Looks to the left. Wide open. Thompson touchdown. Colin Thompson with the touchdown. There was nobody within 20 yards of him.
What a catch off the bobble. Colin Thompson scoops it up.
Lofton corner the end zone. It is caught for the touchdown. The first NFL touch for Colin Thompson is a score.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another edition of the Colin Thompson Show. Brett Coleman joined us earlier this week. If you're a football junkie and you're listening to this and you have not listened to Brett, go back and listen. We do not ramble on and go back and forth, Jack and I at least, to start the show. It goes right to Brett. It's something that we always, do here. I usually talk a little bit before. Jack and I go back and forth, and then we get to an episode. We'll probably go 2 episodes a week here moving forward. This one will be shorter, obviously, but they'll have to be longer form interviews at least once a week, and expect something like this once a week. But Brett was fantastic. Jack has been really pushing me to have him on my show, our show, and it was the gift that kept on giving. I did not expect it to go that way, and Brett and I went in all these different directions in football, and we were to talk at, I think, a pretty high level for a podcast when it comes to football stuff. Not all the way home, obviously, with coach and player talk, but probably the next level. Somebody in media that's, not directly involved with the game, a coach or a player. Brett's got to be, him and Brian Balding are probably the best in the business at it. Brett does it a little bit different way than Baldy, but still high quality, huge following on YouTube and social media. So check out Brett. We're really gracious for him and his time. Gracious for our friends over at the original Fudge Kitchen. Jack and I are going to talk about what we're up to this summer. And one of the things I'll be doing next week, 2 weeks here when I'm in Cape May for the 4th of July week, we'll be hitting up the original Fudge Kitchen. Can't wait. Really can't wait. Saltwater Taffy. Nothing better than chewing on that as you're walking down the promenade at the beach or the boards, as they say, in Wildwood or Ocean City. So check out Fudge Kitchen. If you can't get down there, they'll ship it to you. FudgeKitchens.com. FudgeKitchens.com, shipping fudge and sweet treats across the country. So lots to unpack today, or really lack thereof, but some funny things that Jack and I are going to get into. Before I do, though, my co-host, producer, and do-it-all man for Not For Long Media, Jack Connell's got a sharp haircut. Jack, nice cut, pal. Looking clean and mean and lean.
Thank you. Summer's picked up. I mean, it's been doing yard work outside. The hair's been getting in my face. I've been getting sick of it. It's sweaty, getting in my eyes. I'm sick of wearing hats. So I just figured, I've had the long hair. It's like 3 years at this point. I had to chop it off. It was time for a change. So I'm ready. I look like a 1945 businessman. I look like I'm about to walk into an ad agency or something. But, it's much needed change.
Much needed change. And for those that are listening in their car driving to work this morning, I apologize. You're not able to see Jack, but you can see Jack on YouTube. All of our shows are on YouTube for all of our shows and Not For Long Media. So we have 5, 6, 7, 8 shows now. I don't know. Off the top of my head, I think we have 7. They're all on YouTube as well. So lots going on in our world with our baseball show, Breaking Bats, our Philly Sports Talk Media show with G's. Obviously, you guys listen to the Colin Thompson Show. 2 Girls, 1 League. They're going about once a month right now before football season comes back. They're fantastic, hysterical, funny, witty, and super smart with football. Number 5, we have Trending Thoughts with Tori Smith. Number 6, we have the great Rashid Bailey and his show, Showtime Speaks. Brought to Light is in a kind of a holding pattern here, which is fine, and they'll be coming out, I'm assuming, probably this summer or fall. So is that everything, Jack? Did I forget any?
We have 8, so I got to run through the mental checklist. Your show, Breaking Bats, Sam Boners.
Trending Thoughts. That's the show I forgot. Oh, Mick's going to kill me. That's the one show I'm a co-host on, too, of all the shows. We have 8 shows at Not For Long Media. It's been quite the journey, folks, and we appreciate your support. Without you guys, it's not possible. So it's been a hell of a run. We're continuing to make that run and keep doubling down. 8 shows, Jack. 2 more to make 10. 2 more to make 10. I've jacked up, man. So we're rocking and rolling and a lot of fun things to talk about today. Shout out to the Fudge Kitchen, complete sponsor of everything we do here at Not For Long Media. So, Jack, what'd you get into on Father's Day, man?
We kind of just kept it low key. Went to my sister's house, just hung out. She's got a really nice in-ground pool there. So we did a little swimming, kept it low key, some seafood. It was nice.
I love it. The old in-ground pool, not to be confused with the above ground pool. Big time. at the sister's house with the in-ground pool. We're making it in Hatboro.
Well, we had the above ground pool. Well, we still do. It's kind of on its way out. We're gonna give it a Viking funeral sooner or later, but
What's a
it's
Viking
just
funeral mean?
well, usually Viking funeral, we're not actually going to, but Viking funeral is when you set it out to the ocean and you light it on fire.
Okay.
You send it in blazing glory. We're not actually going to do that, but it is on its way out. Everybody's grown up. It's just no use anymore. We need the yard for the dogs.
It's time. Yeah, it's time, Jack. Yeah. No, that's good stuff there. I'm glad you had a good Father's Day. We had an awesome Father's Day. Celebrated my wife's 30th birthday, Sydney the day before, and then all the uncles and dads and aunts and family, and my parents and brother and my wife's family were able to hang around another day and fly out Monday. So we were really able to enjoy the Father's Day, bopping around Annapolis and breaking bread and having some beers and just enjoying our dads. I wouldn't be here without my dad, in the immediate personal perspective and football perspective. I mean, tremendous impact on my life. But, for the folks listening to the show and have appreciated my work, which I'm really humbled they do, it really started from my dad driving me to school as a kid, before he'd go to work, and we listen to Mike and Mike in the morning, and he'd talk about how they articulated and how they created content and how, they built their shows and so many different things. And that all started because of Mike and Mike in the morning and my dad driving me to school and my passion of media and radio and talk shows and podcasts and TV hits and all these different things. So, my dad's had an amazing impact on me. I'm very blessed to have a father and then have a father that's that invested in my career and my life. It's really led me some amazing places. So I have a lot to thank to him and my mom and my surrounding family. So it's been quite the run. The football wise stuff, I'm still obviously going with that, but the media wise stuff, I owe a lot to him as well. So before we get into anything though, Jack, what do you got for the summer, pal? Any summer plans? I want to touch on that as we're kind of winding down here before 4th of July. What do you got, pal? What are you doing?
Not really anything.
Come on, Jack.
I'm not, there's no beach trip this year. I'm missing out on the annual beach trip. I got work.
No Phillies games?
None playing right now. Nothing. We got nothing in the chamber.
It's in grind mode. And that's what we like to hear at Knock Along Media.
Yeah, I don't want to go around telling my boss that I've got 7,000 vacations and trips planned, and I'm going to be super busy doing all this fun stuff, and I can't work.
That's good. I need some more stories, Jack. We talked about the other day, baby. Rip it up. You need some more stories, some good things to talk about. Listen, there'd be no bar of the week if I didn't go to bars on the weekend and try them out. I got to break them in. I got to keep the bar of the week tradition alive. No, I'm glad. It's good, man. No, you work your ass off. It's nice though. That's the nice part about being where we're from is weather's great, and you get to really enjoy it. Get out in the back, get in the outdoor pool, Jack. Get that in the above ground. Do some yard work. Hang out at the house, and then get ready for the fall because that's the only thing you're looking forward to is football season. I know. I can just see it in your face. You're just ready to go. I see you sounding. We're going to get into that in a second. I see you sounding off like crazy on Twitter at everybody about everything. It's great, by the way. Follow Jack on Twitter. What's it at? Jack P. Connell.
It is at Jack P. Connell. That is the correct handle.
So plans for the summer for me, Jackie, just hanging out here in Annapolis, which is an unbelievable place to hang during the summer. And then hitting Cape May for the week of July 4th. So that'll be great. We'll be up and back from Annapolis throughout it, but for the vast majority of it will be in Cape May, which will be fun. And we'll have a couple of get-togethers down there with some old teammates and old coaches and some people that I play with. It's the NFL and college football hotbed in the summer, July 4th, the month of July. Every single coach that I've ever crossed paths with takes their family there or Martha's Vineyard or wherever to get away, for their little 2-3 week break they get before the season starts. So, yeah, we're going to get into Jack and his Twitter rants and all these different things in a second here. But for me, my PSA to everybody out there, be careful right now on Twitter. It's silly season. 100% silly season. I fell into it the other day when Howard Eskren said Joel Embiid's not a top 5 athlete in the city of Philadelphia. It is silly season. I forget what it was today. Would you trade Kawhi Leonard for Joel Embiid? That's silly season talk. All the OTA talk. Players holding out. This guy's not signed yet. He'll be scoring touchdowns in December for some team and no one's ever going to remember it. But it's just be careful because I've fallen for it and I'm the one who tell people not to. It's crazy. Kyle Pitts being one of the big, they said Kyle Pitts, biggest bust tight end of all time. First off, you got to be a bust to be the biggest bust of all time. He is not a bust whatsoever. He's a player trending upwards and he's going to be a great player. I believe already made a Pro Bowl. So you're losing me on that one. We have Steelers fans and a friend of mine, a former employee not for long, saying that they're upset with Mike Tomlin. What? Like, are you kidding me? He would get signed by a team literally in 1 second. If someone found out Mike Tomlin was fired, an NFL team, even if they love their coach, would really consider firing their coach to hire Coach Tomlin. What? And your values, how everyone else values you. I was like, what he's done there is unbelievable for decades. So again, it's silly season in the Twitter world. Even Jack is sounding off. If you don't like this jersey, you don't know what you're talking about. You don't like this, you don't know what you're talking about. Right, Jack?
Yeah, I mean, the two big things of note. I mean, really, I haven't been too controversial on Twitter lately. I mean, I'm looking back at my recent tweets. I mean, everybody's kind of in agreement. The one thing is the new Flyers uniforms. I was against them at first. I'm going to be quite honest. Like before I saw them, when I just had heard it was coming out in the early mocks, I was like, this seems stupid. But look at them, they look a lot better. They look cleaner. They look very 80s-esque. I love the home and the away. I do not like the black uniform. If you're going to go rebrand, why keep something that you were just part of the old rebrand? You know, like dump the black uniform. I'm all for a black jersey, but update it. You know, don't keep wearing the same Stadium Series 1 from like 3-4 years ago. You got to update it, either add orange lining on the sleeves. I mean, kind of reminiscent of the early 2000s look. Maybe make almost like the reverse retro, kind of make that, but just
black jersey should 100% be the old black jersey they had in the early 2000s.
Just a modernized version of that.
You said it. Yeah. You said it on your tweet. A lot of people said it, right? Like, man, they dropped the ball with this one. Like, they did a great job. I love what the Flyers are doing personally. Like, listen, I get it. They should have made some moves at the deadline last year, but they had a lot of big pieces with big contracts and political stuff going on, and coaches not liking players. So they let a fresh start happen. Great. They traded Provorov. They bring in, Danny Briere gets retained, Keith Jones, Patrick Sharp. These guys are elite hockey people, whether they're former Flyers or not. They happen to be. That makes it better. The Flyers culture is not in good shape. I'm talking off the ice. I listen to a ton of hockey shows, and all the places, like, why would somebody want to go to Philly and be a free agent since the new owners have taken over? I'm not talking about because of losing. I'm talking about the ownership and how they treat players. That all changes when you have Patrick Sharp, Keith Jones, Danny Briere. 3 players, all kind of 3 different decades, give or take, of hockey, and they're relevant. I mean, Patrick Sharp played 5 years ago. So, and John Tortorella, old school coach. He's going to have a young team. He's going to help break in these young players. I hope Tortorella is here for the whole rebuild, 5 years. I don't know if that happens, but he's going to help, and I think will have a lot to do with, in 3, 4, 5 years, this team being a legit hockey club is because of how he treats the rookies and how he treats the younger players and helps them develop into something. So he may be the scapegoat for the next coach, but they have 2 first-round picks this year. They're going to make more moves. It's going to be fun. Danny Briere is like a hungry young GM who right down the street has Howie Roseman, and see how he manipulates and makes draft picks and salary cap and players. And you can argue there's more flexibility with the NHL and their salary cap due to IR and all that different stuff. The NFL doesn't have that luxury. So I'm excited for what the Flyers are doing.
I was not done with my uniform rant, though. I did have the one part that I think kind of wrote up in arms of myself, too, was the advertising patch, Independence Blue Cross. Now, I get the point of jersey advertisements. I don't really care that much because they're bound to happen. Teams need money. They're not on the sale jerseys, like, unless you buy them in the stadium. At least that's how the NBA is. I just wish they made them black and white. Like, you see, they're like just bright baby blue patches on orange and black jerseys, which, I mean, that gets their point across. They stick out like a sore thumb. People are going to notice it more. But on the flip side, you see things like the Mets. The Mets had, I forget who it was, but it was like a red and white logo, and there was a lot of backlash, and they switched it to match uniforms. I hope that's what they end up doing with this. I can't imagine Independence Blue Cross can't make a white and a black logo of that. It doesn't seem like a complex logo. Just slap those on. It'll look so much better. But, I mean, that's one complaint. I mean, but speaking with blue, I mean, the Lions, I like that. Do you like that helmet? I like that helmet.
I like it. It looks good. I think their Lions helmet right now looks good. But go back to the advertisement. Personally, if I'm a company, I want a blue logo on there. You know why? because it shows up. It's like a neon. It's like a neon sign. That's why neon signs are on bars. So your eyes are. So if I'm Blue Cross, sure, I can change the color for you, but I want some money back.
Yeah, and like I said, that's what makes sense. Like they're getting so much free advertising for people talking about the bright blue Independence Blue Cross jersey like logo. I mean, like they're getting so much attention from it. So I see the point from a business point of view, but it's going to be interesting. I mean, this is the new wave. I don't think I would want more than one jersey advertiser. I feel like that'll eventually happen, but I mean, one's not really bothersome to me, especially like I said, it's not the retail product. Like you're not going out when you get whoever. I don't even know who's on the Flyers anymore at this point. Carter Hart. You go to a Carter Hart jersey. It's not like it's going to have all these patches on it. It's just going to be the blank orange jersey. Like they're not on there.
Yeah, I mean, and you brought up the Lions jersey. I think it's great. All this new stuff's great. Why does college football? It's funny. People think NFL is the mecca, and it is the mecca of playing. It's great, but college football is the mecca of like football. It really is. Like you can play there 3, 4, 5 years. You're not getting cut. Now with NIL, it's different, but players stay where they're at most of the time. You're able to recruit, and it forces people to be creative and innovative, but there's no real recruiting in the NFL. It's how much money can you offer me or what opportunity you can give me to win if you're an older player that wants to get a Super Bowl. That's the recruiting. Maybe taxes based off where you play, Miami, Tampa, Vegas, Texas, right? But other than that, there's no recruiting. Like the facilities aren't amazing. Some of them are. Some of them are just okay. Not like college. College, they're building new buildings, new facilities every 2-3 years. They have to. They're planning to build new things. So that it's a little bit different. That's something that people don't understand. They think NFL is the mecca in that sense. But I like this. Its change is good. I think creating new helmets and new logos and all that stuff, it's fun. It's for the fans. It's for the fans. That's the bottom line. The fans pay the bills. The fan turn the gates. The fans buy new jerseys. So if you look a little cooler and have a little different swag, sure, why not?
And the biggest knock was when they introduced the 2-shelf rule last year. It was, I felt like they kind of had to do it to increase whatever mini helmet sales, publicity, and like 9 out of the 10 teams released black helmets, which it makes sense for certain teams. The Eagles are pretty much the only one that really sticks out to me. It's like the Saints a little bit, but
Panthers.
It's like the Cardinals. Yeah, Panthers. And I think the Panthers could have a lot more benefited from a helmet like the Lions. I think it fits so much better to have a baby blue helmet as compared to a black helmet, in my opinion. I think that would have looked a lot better. But I mean, the Cardinals having black helmets, the Falcons throwback ones were nice, but others, it was just like, and the main complaints, people wanted something original. They wanted a different color. And the Lions come out here, instead of just coming out with a black helmet or a gray helmet to match their all gray uniforms, they bring in this really cool logo. And then people start bashing the logo when it's meant to be a throwback of the logo they used 60, 70 years ago. And people are complaining the Lions too long. What would you expect? The logo was made in 1955.
People go to Twitter to complain. If you click the comment, are you ever going to be through? You're like, wow, everyone's in a good mood here. So you can't. It's click. It's all BS for you and I talk about. I'm not downgrading your argument. I'm just saying, like, this is exactly what I'm talking about with silly season. Like, you don't think Detroit Lions put some thought, tender loving care into what they have going on? That logo they love, like the organization loves, and they said, let's go with it. Yeah. It's just Twitter's a cesspool, and we infuse the gauge into it as we transition here. Thanks to our friends over at the original Fudge Kitchen into our rankings, Jack. Are you kidding me? I engage with it. Howard Eskin. I don't think Joel Embiid's top 5 athlete. Well, what's an athlete? First off, is it the most successful players? Is it the people that you're upset about because they didn't win you a championship? That's where I struggle. So Jack and I are going to rank our top 10 athletes in Philly. Mine's going to be based off a combination of size, speed, skill, not always like crazy production based. Because if you want to do production based, right, it's all the MVPs. So I digress, Jack. We're going to go to you first, pal. Who are your top 5 Philadelphia sports athletes?
So we do them top 5 or top 10? Because I have 10. So are
10.
we do okay, so I'll do my 10. Mine is a combination of like accolades and success in Philly and like their current stature, like their current ability and their points. So like a guy like Brandon Graham, like if you did all the time, like Brandon Graham might be on the list. Brandon Graham's not on the list for me right now. So number 10, I have Hassan Reddick, who probably will be top 5 in this list if he has another year like he did this past year, but only one season in Philadelphia. So like I said, I'm only accounting it into their time in Philadelphia. Number 9, I have James Harden. You're going to mock James Harden, but I think he's going to be back. He's the second best player the Sixers have had in 15, 20 years. You can't name outside of Joel Embiid and maybe Jimmy Butler, but Jimmy Butler only had half a season with the team. He's a 2010 guy who showed up in the playoffs. I like him. They're not going to have a chance now. Celtics got Kristaps Porzingis, but it's whatever. Number 8, I have AJ Brown. Again, kind of the same boat as Hassan Reddick. Just really got good guy. They'll probably rise with his rankings. Only had one season in Philly. 7, I have Kyle Schwarber. I don't know much about Schwarber, but he seems to be hitting home runs really well. He's clutching the playoffs. He's doing really good right now. That's where I have him. 6, I got Zach Wheeler, just because I seen him kind of as the Phillies' top ace, all that sort of stuff. 5, Lane Johnson, best right tackle, probably second or third best tackle in football. Easy answer there. And then 4, I have Embiid. He's the MVP, scoring leader 2 years in a row, second best center in the NBA, top 5 player in the league. As much as he's had his lack of success, he still deserves to be up there. Number 3, I have Jason Kelce. Just a stature of success, one of the best centers in NFL history, just bleeds Philadelphia, but along that, just incredible second-level blocker. Everything you say about him as a player. Just as a player, he deserves to be number 3. 2, I have Jalen Hurts. Last year, he ascended just everything about him in Philadelphia, MVP-type season if it wasn't for Mahomes, just everything, Super Bowl appearance. And then 1, I got Bryce Harper, only player here who's made a World Series / championship, won an MVP here, has had success multiple seasons here. That is my top 10.
My question with all this is, and great job, Jack. Appreciate your effort and hard work. But what does this have to do with them being athletes? Like, being an athlete is, you're different. You're freaky. Like, you do stuff that no other people do. That's an athlete. Not, well, we're going to give him one more year in Philly. What does it have to do with him being a current athlete right now? That's where the media gets a hold of you, Jackie. Silly season. Like, what does Joel Embiid not having success? He just got the MVP. The guy's a freak of absolute nature. Shoot threes, dunks, dribbles. He's maybe one of the best athletes walking the planet. And people don't even have him on their list. So I'm going to digress, Jack, and I'm going to go through mine. I'm talking the combination of size, speed, skill. This isn't, well, he had this many sacks, and he's a hardworking guy, and he bleeds this. And no, athlete. It says the top 5 athletes, top 10 athletes. What's the criteria? My favorite athlete in Philadelphia sports history, Jason Kelce. Hall of Famer, legendary speeches. The guy's the GOAT. Absolute GOAT. But he's not on my top 10 athletes Philly list. He's not. Is he still a great athlete? Unbelievable athlete. But we're going 4, 5, 6 sports teams in Philly. So my top 10 athletes in Philadelphia right now. Number 10, Carter Hart. Absolute freak of nature in net. Extremely nimble and gifted. And for being an undersized goalie in this world today, if he's on a really good team, the guy's like an MVP type candidate. It's really hard to be a great goalie on a bad team. Number 9, Tyrese Maxey. The guy's got explosiveness. He can dunk. He can take people off the dribble. He shoot threes. He has tenacity. A great, great athlete. Number 8, JT Realmuto. Stud quarterback in high school. Stud catcher in the MLB. Hits, runs, guns people out at second, does everything. Again, that's an athlete. A.J. Brown, number 7, freak of nature, big, strong, fast, crazy balance, crazy physical, been doing it for a really long time. Number 6, Lane Johnson, freak of nature, former quarterback, tight end, tackle, never gets beat, never loses. Arms literally can tie his shoes standing up. He's so gifted athletically, the way he runs and moves and bounds, and so strong. Freak. Number 5, played against him in college, played against him in the NFL, played against him in practice and games in the NFL, Hassan Reddick. This is the defensive back, folks, that turned defensive end. That's the type of athletic ability that Hassan Reddick has, running, strength, power, balance, moves. explosiveness, mental capacity to play the game at a high level, football-wise, plays with a ton of energy too. Number 4, you can honestly make him probably number 1, but he's not going to be, is Jordan Mailata. Has anybody ever seen him play rugby? Oh my gosh. 6'8", 380? And the guy is just bounding around the field and just stiff-arming these poor people from Australia. I mean, this guy is an absolute monster. And he went from never playing football in his life to being one of the best tackles in the NFL as a pro. I mean, that's astronomical to even think about. I'm going to just play another sport, and then when I'm 23, I'm just going to go play at the highest level in a sport I've never played at in my life. Jordan Mailata, freak, great athlete. Number 3, this guy's different. Okay? This guy's different. I am a massive fan. Jalen Hurts. How much he can lift, how far he can throw, how fast he can run, his toughness, his tenacity, his leadership. Again, athletically, off the charts. Freak. And a crazy good competitor. Number 2, you can argue one of the best high school athletes of all time that turned out to just be an absolute stud. MVP, Bryce Harper. The guy's an absolute stud. I mean, he was mashing home runs at 10, and he's on Sports Illustrated when he was 13, and it all worked out for him all the way through. Now, of course, there's bumps in the road. That's natural progression of business, life, health, whatever. So Bryce, to me, is 2. And then number 1, arguably one of the best athletes walking the planet right now is Joel Embiid. That's why this list is here. Joel is 7+ feet. He can play like a point guard. He can play like a big man. He has amazing versatility. He's a freak of nature. This isn't a list of the most successful athletes in Philly, the people we like the most, the people that win those playoff games for us, those Philly fans. This is a list of the athletes, the top 10 athletes in Philly. So for me, it's Carter Hart, Tyrese Maxey, JT Realmuto, AJ Brown, Lane Johnson, Hassan Reddick, Jordan Mailata, Jalen Hurts, Bryce Harper, and Joel Embiid. That's my list of the top 10 athletes, period. Size, speed, skill in Philly.
Yeah. So again, I think we took different routes here to kind of talk about, like I said, mine is I considered, when you say athletes, you did it by the literal definition term of athlete.
Yeah, that's the list.
I did, yeah. But when people say that, you think you don't.
No, that's
your
a
brain
Philly Sports
doesn't
Talk
automatically.
Radio list. That's a Philly Sports Talk Radio list. Well, this guy didn't win the big game. What? What does that have to him do being a good
When you
athlete?
see athletes, you think players. You think of players and you gauge them by their accolades. Nobody's going to say, there's a difference. If you walk, people are, when they hear athletes, they think players. No, as great as Jordan Mailata is, they're not going to say, oh, Jordan Mailata is the 3rd best player in Philadelphia.
He's a freak.
You know what I mean?
We're not talking about best player.
But I'm just.
Who are the most productive players in Philly? Who are the most beloved players in Philly? That's a whole separate conversation. I love Jason Kelce.
I was gauging mine on the line of productive.
But it's not even, because some of that stuff, production-wise, Jason Kelce should be number 1. Should be number 1 on that list. Production, he's Hall of Famer. And he's literally changed the position. Jason's 280, 275. He's 30 to 40 pounds less than every man out there. He should be on my list, but I didn't even know where to put him. But he's just a freak, and I had to throw a little love for the Flyers in there. But that's my problem with this whole deal. And that's what this hurts me for Sports Talk Radio. It's come on, man. Joel Embiid's not the top 5 athlete in Philadelphia right now because he lost the playoff game. If he won 5 more games in the playoffs, we value him as so it's all good. You're right. Listen, 610-632-09, that'd be perfect. But we're here rating athletes, Jack. Now, most beloved Philly sports people of all time, Utley, Dawkins, Kelce, Harper. Who else?
Harper.
Eric Lindros. I'm talking about beloved.
Allen Iverson.
Allen Iverson. Right? That's the list. Who are the most beloved current Philly sports figures right now? Jalen Hurts, Jason Kelce, Brandon Graham, right? People are still talking about the Super Bowl a couple of years ago. He knocked that ball out. But there's a difference, Jack. Pick the category clickbait social media. I can't stand it. Can't stand it, Jackie. Can't stand it. As you can tell, fires me up, which is good. This is what a podcast is for. If I was on here like this all the time, which I'd catch myself doing sometimes, I'm boring. Bar of the week this week on the Colin Thompson Show, brought to you by the original Fudge Kitchen, fudgekitchens.com. Schooner America, the Schooner, as we call it in Cape May, behind the Lobster House is an awesome boat with a bar in the middle of it, restaurant seating. You can pull your boat up to it, wave runner, kayak, paddleboard. It's awesome. It's one of the best, if not the best, bars in Cape May. You have all the scallop boats right nearby. You have all the beautiful boats coming in and out of the harbor in Cape May, passing the Coast Guard base, all the beautiful houses down Yacht Avenue you get to look at. It's an absolute blast. When they have live music going on there, you can't beat it. They have the best orange crushes on the island. They have awesome service, great little food and bites and oysters and shrimp. The Schooner is freaking awesome. Service is a 5 out of 5. They are busting their ass. The place is always packed, the Lobster House, but the Schooner behind it, they always do a great job there. Service is 5 out of 5. Drinks are 5 out of 5. Food and ambiance, you really can't beat it. On the water, everything from great burgers to great little shrimp pizzas to great little oysters, and just an awesome little spot. And then TVs, no TVs, but I'll put live music in there. When they have live music there, it's a really good vibe. So I'm going to give it a 19 out of 20, 4 out of 5 on the live music TV scene. 19 out of 20 is a great score, Jack, in the back. Schooner America, the Schooner, behind the Lobster House in Cape May, New Jersey. Anything else, Jack, before we digress and move along here and finish up this wonderful episode we've put down on the table today?
No, I feel like we kind of touched on everything. I mean, we had our big list. That was the big conversation point from today. I gave my airing of grievances on uniforms between the Flyers and the Lions. Really about it, Celtics trade for Kristaps Porzingis. They'll probably be in the finals next year.
Yeah, I saw that briefly. Has he been healthy?
He has been moderately healthy. He's slowed down, but he's incredible for a third option. I mean, Boston has significantly lacked a lengthy big man. I mean, they have Robert Williams and Grant Williams, and it was just like they were really struggling to have a big guy, and that was their biggest issue against. I mean, as much as they slowed down Embiid, other guys like they got killed by not having somebody tall. And now that they can bring Robert Williams off the bench, start Porzingis, and all they gave up was Malcolm Brogdon. I mean, they'll probably have to include Danilo Gallinari, who didn't even play last year with the torn ACL, who is a very good forward. He's kind of getting up there in age, but great trade for them.
That's an asset. You can move that asset. He's for Gallinari. I mean, I used to watch him in the Hawks. I love them. Good shooter, slasher, like a fun player. It's a shame he's not healthy and not what he used to be. But yeah, I mean, is he gonna? Where was Porzingis? Wizards?
Porzingis was at Washington. He was traded to Washington or no?
Dallas.
Yeah, he was from Dallas.
Before that, the Knicks.
Yes.
Good.
And it'll be interesting to see. Malcolm Brogdon heads to LA, which continues their history of signing players or trading for players that have significant injury issues. Brogdon is always very injury
Chris
prone.
Paul's going to probably go there too. The Lakers.
Yeah, he's probably at Washington. Chris Paul has a tendency of teams say they're going to waive him, and then he plays for them. He raises their floor, and then he either gets traded or they just keep him. Washington, unless they get significant draft capital back in these trades, they didn't get anything for Bradley Beal. I don't think they'll get really much of anything for Porzingis based off initial reports. They're probably going to just try to keep him and see how good they can do, raise his value, and then trade him instead of just having to cut him. So
yeah,
if he gets cut, he'll end with the Lakers, but I think he'll be a Wizard to start season.
Yeah, he'll do well, right? And then some team who may lose a point guard may not even be the Lakers. They'll just go get him.
Yeah.
Trade a first-round pick. They'll get a first-round pick for him.
Exactly. That's
good NBA knowledge. That's the NBA. I like the NBA offseason way better than in-season. I'll be honest.
It's very entertaining. There's nothing like it.
It's entertaining. Just trades. Like, they're just milking the hell out of this. What's his name in Golden State opting out?
Oh, Draymond Green.
Yeah, Draymond Green. He's supposed to opt out.
Yeah, he'll opt out because he'll sign back. He'll get a 3-year, $60 million contract, or somebody else will give him a 3-year, $60 million contract. Probably nobody else, but I mean, he's absolutely worth it. PJ Tucker's 37, making that $10 million, $11 million a year. Then Draymond can get $20 million at 33. I mean, he's a typical player. The people who watch the league, that's most people. Most people have come to respect that Draymond Green is an incredible player, even though he only puts up 8 points, 5 rebounds, and 4 assists a game. It's just he's a PJ Tucker. Like, you watch the game, you understand how crucial he is.
We need to get, what's the name needs to leave Philly?
James Harden?
Yeah. I mean, let's be real. Like,
Why? Why should Philly
because
let James
regular
Harden
season basketball does not correlate over in the playoffs, Jack. He gets fouled and goes to the line, pads his stats, and all of a sudden he finishes with a quiet 27 and 10, and everyone's like, huh, he checks the box. But in the playoff, they don't call that. And in tight games, they don't call that. So, yeah, he can have a big game in the playoffs like he had against Boston. But can he have big series after series after series? People get on Joel Embiid. Where's his help?
Yeah, it's tough, but from an
Where
asset
is his
perspective,
help? Answer that question. Tyrese Maxey was like, what, a late round, first round pick who plays well and is overachieved?
They said
James Harden's an older player, just going downhill. And great. I like James in Houston. I think he's a stud. But is he going to, in the East, in the physical East, when it matters the most, who's helping Joel Embiid?
From a pure asset perspective, it is asinine to let James Harden walk unless, because at this point, Houston has basically come out and said, we do not want him. It's kind of just been revealed that it's a leverage ploy at this point. All signs are pointing towards another team-friendly deal for Harden and Philly, 2-year deal probably. And for Philly, it makes no sense to trade. And nobody wants him. Understanding there's a reason he only really fits in Philly because of his age and his contracts. Philly's the only one that can really afford him. And your team, as much as you can give him flack, they would be considerably worse if they let Harden walk because they have no draft picks and they have no cap space. They can't let him go and sign anybody else because they are still over the cap. It's unless you gamble and let Tobias Harris walk next year too and punt this year and hope you can sign 2 guys in free agency, which isn't a guarantee. There's really no way to walk that makes this better. Like, you're not going to be able, if Harden goes anywhere, you're not going to be able to get a sign and trade out of it because you're not going to be giving him 5-year max. The only way he would walk is he'd sign and trade, be like Jimmy Butler in Miami. The only reason the Sixers got Josh Richardson is because Jimmy Butler wanted a 5th year in his contract. So Miami agreed to sign trade to give him the 5th year. That's not happening anywhere.
You can't get anywhere else, folks. Me being clueless about the NBA and Jack Connell hitting the nail on the head. The Sixers will be irrelevant until he's gone. Because they'll have some movement and some money to maybe make some moves and then maybe develop some younger players that are tough, want it, are healthy, trending upwards, not trending downwards. That's Jack Connell. I'm Colin Thompson. Going to a game this season. SeatGeek, promo code Colin Thompson. How are you? Big news here, Jude Jack, on the bar of the week front. Big news. Washington, D.C. Council has Front Office Sports says Washington, D.C. Council has unanimously approved a proposal allowing bars to stay open 24 hours during the Women's World Cup. Bars will be able to accommodate a 14 to 16-hour kickoff time difference from Australia and New Zealand. So if a game's at 7 o'clock at night there, it'd be like a 9 a.m. deal here. So party on, DC. I hope they do something in Annapolis too. So good stuff as always. I need to watch the rest of this Gator baseball game. Go Gators. Go Gators. Go Gators. That's it for the Colin Thompson Show. Appreciate you listening to Jack and I ramble on. Hope everyone is enjoying their summer. Stay safe and then check out the original Fudge Kitchen if you can't, because it's dangerous at the original Fudge Kitchen. Shipping fudge sweet treats across the country. FudgeKitchens.com.